Welcome to PopXcast, a podcast that brings together the worlds of pop culture and science fiction in a way that breathes life into our inner child. From nostalgia to all things retro, pop culture news, film reviews, and the Retro Rewind, we explore all realms of geeky goodness. So find your comfy spot, top off your glass, and don't forget those pizza rolls in the air fryer because it's time for PopXcast. You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. Here we go!
PopXcast.
I was born in it, molded by it.
PopXcast. No strings on me. Autobots, transform. I'm Batman. By the power of Grayskull. PopXcast.
We're doomed.
Goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
Here's Johnny. Never had a pet pony.
Hasta la vista, baby.
PopXcast.
Captain's log supplemental.
Negasonic Teenage. What the
I am the one who knocks.
Excelsior!
All right, and welcome everyone. Welcome to PopXcast episode 144 for this July the 15th, 2022. We're on a Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern,
What's
12
happening?
Central.
Lit.
What are we doing, guys?
It's lit. It's lit.
Well,
it's light outside. I don't know
all right.
what's happening.
I don't know either. I'm usually a creature of the night, but today I'm a day dweller. Wow, I'm really pulling out some Blade stuff there, aren't I? But I have to say the premise of today's show is probably my fault because I was out of town over the weekend.
Ooh,
Yeah, I was in Atlanta, Georgia over the weekend, last weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend when Thor: Love and Thunder came out, and me and Lindsay were talking this week. It's like, we got to get a show out while this movie is like number one at the box office right now. And I was like, yes. And so, like, Captain Planet, let our powers combine. We are here in true fashion. What's up, Team PopX? Austin, how have you been, bro? What's new?
Hey, man. Just watching everything that I can possibly watch, man. There's a lot of stuff, and my brain's fried. Hello. I'm here.
My brain is fried, y'all.
Hey, yo.
Like a crispy piece of fried chicken.
I don't know where I'm at.
done.
And yesterday, I don't know if you saw it yesterday. For like 30 seconds, I posted PopXcast today. And I was like, no, today's Thursday. PopXcast is Friday. And then I was like, the whole day, even after I deleted it, I thought yesterday was Friday. And so I woke up this morning knowing it was Friday and thought it was Saturday. I'm a mess right now. I'm a mess.
What's happening?
My brain, man, it's scrambled.
Oh my
Like an egg.
gosh. Well, before we do that, I want to say Shanae over in the chat room. Oh my God, Austin Burke, I'm your biggest fan. I love you, Austin. So Shanae
He's really here.
He's really here.
Oh, there goes the underwear. Anyway,
Huge shout out to SJ McFly, who is literally a rock throwing distance from my front window right here. What's up, Shane?
Let's go.
My neighbor.
Hi.
How you doing? And then unicorns and rainbows. What's up, tree smoker? It's good to see you, Dawn. Hope you're having
Hi,
it.
Dawn.
Lindsay, how have you been?
Oh, dude, I'm good. As my dear friend Joseph Burke would say, finer than a frog's hair split three ways. or
You
something
bet
along
your
those
bottom dollar. Hot diggity dang in the
my
doo-wah diddy.
lines. No, I'm doing well.
It's not me. It's the mermaid. It's not me. It's the mermaid.
This stream is powered by caffeine.
Yes. As you notice, this is a different PopX because usually it's 9 o'clock
We have
at night.
energy.
And so we're like,
this is a
and coming
fully
up
charged.
next on headlines, we've got, no!
Yeah.
Not
No,
today.
this is fully powered.
We
by
are jacked
all
up
things
right
caffeine.
now. My God, it's so good. Anyway.
It's great. It's been great. It's summer. We're running our butts off doing all the things, and
Yeah, it's
it's a good thing.
It's hotter than Satan's underwear in the middle of
God,
July
it's
right
so
now. I'm
hot.
telling you, it is hot, man.
So hot.
I mowed grass yesterday, and
So
I'm pretty
hot.
sure I lost 5 pounds of body fluid.
I did too, man. I walked in. I was sliding.
Dude,
down the
I was
couch.
a
I'm
slippery
like,
slope, man.
"Yo."
My
Yeah.
my back was literally a slip and slide. I'm not joking.
So now you just run and jump on the couch and you wee.
No, there's no jumping on the couch with this kind of stuff rolling off my back. If you know what I'm saying, you got to hit the shower and clean up or any of that kind of stuff because you ain't gonna get no daggone oil grease stains on my couch.
Well, just
Heck
lay
no.
down a tarp in the living room and just run and jump and
I
take
just
advantage of the.
I was just sliding all
friction.
over our tile here. It was great. It's a good experience.
All right, getting
Rail,
sticky.
my dogs were confused, but I wasn't. I knew
Joe
my
belly flopping and just
I knew my
sliding
place.
down the hall.
Dude, I get on my belly. That's just
This is getting weird. This is getting weird.
all
a
right,
fidget
guys.
spinner.
Let's.
Sit there. Rotate.
Oh my God, I'm a fidget spinner. That's awesome.
I don't know what's
Anyway,
happening right now, but I'm here for it.
That's great.
I'm here for it.
It's good times. All right, so Austin and Burke, open us up, man. Let's get this show going.
Oh, God. Okay.
Welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm Austin Burke, the Appalachian geek at heart. We would like to welcome everyone joining us live in the PopX.live chat room. You guys, please come and hang out with us. Join the conversation at PopXcast.com. And if this is your first time tuning into PopX, the first 10 to 15 minutes or so, we run down the headlines since our last show, and then we dive really deep into all things nostalgic on the retro rewind. And at the halfway point, we hit on the show's topic. And today's topic is going to be love and thunder.
Indeed. I am Joseph Burke, Central Florida's seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast and founder of PopXcast. Now, also Lindsay Badger and myself and a host of other creators, we do a thing called the Multiverse where Badger makes. You can see her live on Twitch several times a week. You can see myself live several times a week. If you guys don't know how to plug in, make sure you connect to our Discord channels. There is a QR code at the bottom right of your screen. You can scan that at any time during our show and go over to the Creative Multiverse Discord. Also, too, we have a Badger Makes Discord as well. And so make sure that you get those links. You find those links. They'll be in the show description of today's show. Not the Today Show. That's NBC Comcast. That's a connect strike. Okay, we're screwed. We're never going to have another show again. Anyway, wow, this is really great. I like coffee. But connect with us on the Creative Multiverse and hit on that Discord button, and you guys will be able to connect with us and know when we go live, whether it's on YouTube, Twitch, or wherever.
Or you could just say multiverse 3 times and it will summon that like Beetlejuice.
Or me as a fidget spinner in your kitchen.
Oh God, no! Somebody make that animated GIF.
Whirly
Stop.
burlies.
Anyway,
It's Joe's whirly burlies.
I'm a little scared, but
You
I
should
also want
be.
to see it. So it'll kind of be like one of these
You should be. Yeah, no, you want to see?
situations.
Yep.
Power of God compels
Oh
me.
my gosh. Well, I know I was here for last episode, but in case you guys weren't, make sure you go over and watch our last episode. Number 143, we talked about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Well,
Hello there.
Hello there.
And we also did the little retro rewind of Field of Dreams, which was so
It was really good.
I forgot how good it was. And so I'm glad we got to unpack that for you guys as well. So if you didn't get to see that, make sure you head over to the official PopX website, popxcast.com, for that episode and all the other goodness that we've done over the, 500 years of filming this show now.
Long time.
all the things are there, all conveniently in one place.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
If you guys are hanging out with us tonight and you're liking what you're seeing, make sure you're clicking all the buttons that make the algorithms happy. Thumbs it up, sub it, slam the bell. You know the drill. Just do it.
Do it.
Okay? Because it makes the bots overlords happy. Okay.
Do it.
And do it.
Do it.
And don't forget the podcast is actually the real reason why we started this whole show in the first place. So we can't forget those friends.
It's true.
Whenever we're listening on the audio platforms, make sure you guys are giving us some nice 5-star reviews. And then maybe a nice comment would be cool too.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. Love you long time.
Yeah.
All righty. Are you guys ready for some PopX news?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Don't go anywhere. PopX News headlines coming your way.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News, coming to you live right here on PopXcast.com.
Austin Burke, the movie that we're talking about, the very one. You get to tell us some numbers and facts and figures, and if there's anything that I didn't put in the notes that you already have acquired in your own vast knowledge, just go ahead and share that as well.
No, I think you did a great job here, Joe. And there was never any doubt that Thor: Love and Thunder would come in at number 1 at the box office this weekend. The only question was what the total would be via deadline. Thor: Love and Thunder had a domestic bow of $143 million. That's $21 million above Thor Ragnarok's $122 million opening all the way back in 2017. But it's also well below the $188 million opening of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness earlier this year. Granted, the newest Thor sequel had much heavier competition than Multiverse of Madness. Absolutely. Coming in at number 2 was Minions: The Rise of Gru with $47.2 million and a new $211 million domestic take. My goodness. Tom Cruise's sequel, Top Gun Maverick, landed in the 3rd position. Oh my God. What are we in its 7th, 8th weekend? And it's in the 3rd position with $14.6 million and an absolutely stellar $596 million domestic total.
Holy
At this
goodness.
rate, there are only a few films that could challenge Maverick for this year's box office crown. Perhaps Avatar: The Way of Water or Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, if they perform as well as their predecessors. My God, Top Gun Maverick, we could talk about that all day. But in all honesty, I think this take for Thor is super solid. I'll be curious to see what the drop-off is because the reception has been mixed, right? But in terms of an opening weekend coming in above Ragnarok, and then maybe it didn't have all the multiversal stuff that Doctor Strange had, but it still got close to that opening, and it's solely based around Thor instead of Doctor Strange and the multiverse. I think that's a great opening weekend. I'm interested to see what it does this weekend.
I'm interested to see that as well. Thor: Love and Thunder, it did shatter some records. It didn't go all the way up to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Sure.
But, I really do feel that it may not be as good as Thor Ragnarok, but I do feel it is a different take on a franchise that we may not know about. With that being said, really quickly, we have a countdown timer that says that we are about ready to be booted out of Zoom. I don't know if you guys see that on your end. Do you guys see that?
I see that on my end, but I don't see it on the live stream.
I'm scared. What's going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen after the 7-minute and 30-second mark.
Oh my God, you guys.
Here, let's do a quick backup plan here right quick. If you guys can roll over into Discord in a minute. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know how it's going to happen. But we're going to do this live while we're streaming in real time.
Yay. Do you have a mod channel so we don't have random surprises?
Do you have one, Lindsay?
We can do coloring table.
All right, let's do
It'll
that.
be limited, but not private. I can create one real quick.
If you could, that'd be great because we're live streaming in real time.
Yeah.
We may have to use Discord, you all, while we're live streaming to get this thing under.
This is okay.
We'll
just edit and post.
We got this.
Yeah, it's all good.
I believe.
I believe.
Timer's scary though. I mean, listen, that's 6:40. Oh.
Yeah, it's counting down. There's like a Zoom countdown timer here, and I'm not sure why. It's never done that before. It's like upgrade to Pro, and I was like, wait, I do have Pro. So I don't know if it's going to kick us off. It may kick us off at 6 minutes, but anyway, I'm going to continue on with my new segment.
Yeah.
We're going to continue on because we're not going to let this get us down.
No,
if not, we'll just figure out another thing in real time, and we'll get you guys going back. On the whole, Super 7's modern-day 7-inch redos of Playmates' old 5-inch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figures have met with a glowing review. But the next ones come literally
will glow. Following the footsteps of the mutagen man, Baxter Stockman, and the foot soldier, 4 brothers get their own luminous wave. These glowing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will be Super 7's exclusives and, alas, include price hike to $65 each. Despite fewer accessories than the originals, each of the foursome will include bonus head, 6 bonus hands, open and closed turtle communicators, ooze canister, pizza slice, and original pre-mutagen figures. These will not show up at other sites at a standard retail price. These are only exclusive through Super 7. Let's see. And so the only way to get these is directly through Super 7's link, which we will drop right now into the chat. All right. So we're going to drop it right now. So if you guys are wanting to see it, wanting to pre-order it, there is a link now in the chat for the Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles exclusive pack. These guys are glowing, y'all. They're glowing. It looks good.
Yeah, that's legit. I like the glow in the dark.
I do too.
For sure.
Excuse me. So if you guys are into this, you're into retro things, you want to check it out, and you need to click that link. And I want to say it may be worth it if you are a collector of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles specifically. But I thought it was really worth a mention because these are not your normal glow toys. The pure plastic is what actually glows. These are not painted, so it is infused in the plastic. So that's extremely interesting. And according to the images that we see here, and I believe that they're using a UV blacklight on these to make these pop just that much more. These things would look really good in a night room with a black light somewhere. But click on that link and let us know for sure. Lindsay, are you good?
I've got my channel open. Austin has to get in the server then.
Okay.
I am currently not logged in on my computer, and I do not know my password. So I am.
Oh, that's super fun.
Lovely.
Well, while you're sorting through that, we'll
have 3 minutes and 50 seconds to figure this out.
We're gonna get through this news, and then we'll take a Switch platform break in a minute. All right, so you guys, if I don't know if you know of a really popular word game called Wordle. I'm not technically obsessed with it, but I do enjoy a good Wordle from time to time. You can now, you and your friends, not just you and your friends can now experience the puzzles in physical board game form thanks to Hasbro's Wordle, the party game. An analog version of Wordle mimics the online version with secret word that players must guess in the fewest tries possible, with only 6 guesses max.
Wow.
Of course, in order for the physical version of Wordle to work, some changes are needed. For example, a player designated as the Wordle host writes down a secret word, and other players must compete to guess the word in the fewest amount of tries. The fewer tries equal fewer tries equals fewer points, so the player with the fewest points at the end of the game will win, kind of like golf. Wordle, the party game, also improves on the web-based version in respect that it can be played more than once a day. That's nice.
Yep.
And it's also dry erase, so you can reuse it as many times as you want. Sweet.
I like it.
You can also switch it up, the gameplay, with 3 variations, fast, timed, or teams, and you can pre-order it on Entertainment Earth for $19.99 plus free shipping. Hell yeah.
Well, let's go.
Let's do it. I think it's on Amazon. Yeah, it's on the Amazons. If you guys want to go check that out, you can go have a party game of Wordles. That's pretty dang rad.
It is really dang rad. And so we just got done with news. There's something really cool I want to show you guys before we move on to Footloose.
Okay.
So I got something in the mail.
It's a light bright.
Look at this, dude.
But
Is that not the coolest?
It's not just any light bright.
It's a Stranger Things light bright, y'all.
Can you talk to the upside down?
I've tried. It doesn't talk back.
It's a light bright and a Ouija board all in one.
Check that out, y'all. So
That's the coolest.
So check this. So it's got 4 different modes of light. So check it out. It'll It moves around like a neon light.
That's even cooler than the original one.
See, watch this. Look at this. It like, you know how the old neon lights back in the day would like parts of it would load and glow?
Yeah.
That is so
Look at that. All right, so that's not all of it. That's not all of it. Wait. Look at the box art.
You have to save the box. You have to.
Yeah, can't get rid of the box.
Instead of flipping a box, normally you flip a box this way to see the back panel.
Oh my god.
Watch this. You do this. You flip it upside down.
I like that more.
You flip it upside down to be upside down.
The logos. Oh my gosh.
What is going on?
The picture's upside down, but all of the other stuff is not.
Now,
oh my gosh.
this box set also comes with a Stranger Things sticker pack that is officially licensed, as well as a little keepsake Stranger Things Light Bright bead pack for your little light beads.
For a little baggie.
And you get all kinds of really cool templates. There's 16 different. Now, this is on Amazon right now, guys.
How much was this?
$30.
$30. That's
so,
not bad. Oh
so you got the
my gosh,
tigers.
go Tigers.
We've got. I'm not sure.
Is that a bunny?
I think it's a bunny with a heart. I'm not sure. There was one in here that was really cool though. It's like. I have no idea what some of these are. Oh, that's
Is there a Demogorgon in
that's
there?
a walkie-talkie. Look at
That'd be
the
the walkie. Yeah, the
the
one that
walkie-talkie.
Susie uses.
Yeah, there is a Demogorgon in here, Lindsay.
Oh, yes.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can find it right quick, and then we'll move on. But I was looking through this, and I was like, what is going on? This thing is so cool.
I'm going to put that on my Christmas wish list, man.
It is so fun, and I can't wait to like start.
I can't wait till
Here's the
Christmas to get
Demogorgon.
it,
I found it. There is a Demogorgon.
Oh, there he is.
Ooh, look at the
them
Demogorgon.
clouds.
Look at that.
Yeah, I like that.
Clouds.
I like that.
So, you guys, seriously, I had a light bright growing up as a kid. I got to say, being able to own one of these in modern day, it's just baller. It's cool. I mean, it was fun putting these in, and I just can't wait. I like to make a PopX logo or something, but here's what I have planned for this.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I did this. So you can run this through Photoshop, and you can run a filter on it that will remove the background, and you can create pixel art that is illuminated, and you don't even have to add the illumination to it.
What?
So here's that exactly. So
What?
I plan on doing some pixel art of my own and photographing it, and then running an exposure on it and removing out all the background and stuff, and you'll have these really cool illuminated pixel pegs.
Oh
Yes.
So
As Jeremy said, this should be on all of our Amazon wish
right,
lists.
Yes, it
right.
should. Yes,
it's
it should,
amazing. I mean, come on. So I say that, man, it's fun. It's a fun little thing. It came yesterday, and Alex is like, "You're a kid in a candy store right now," and I was like, "Well, yeah."
That is a way cool set, dude.
All right. But having said that, are you guys ready for a little retro rewind?
Heck yeah.
All right. Don't go anywhere. Footloose. Footloose. Kick off your Sunday shoes. Footloose. Coming up now on the retro rewind. Oh my gosh.
Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind.
Well, we're back here on the Retro Rewind. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here tonight. We are talking about Footloose today. One of Kevin Bacon's, I guess that's probably one of his first films when he came out.
He was such a baby.
He had a baby face.
That haircut, though. Oh my God.
That haircut.
He looked like a chia pet.
That haircut was on fleek. I'm not going to lie to you. But Kevin Bacon, pretty much the plot is you have an inner city kid that is his family moves to a rural part of the country, and in that becomes the country mindset, the country lifestyle, the country way of living, and insert the pastor John Lithgow, who kind of has this commanding hand over the community, right? And so you insert Ren, who is Kevin Bacon's character. He's like, you guys, what are you doing? Why are you stuck in this old school mentality, traditional way of thinking? And it's really interesting because Kevin Bacon's role, you would think there would be a lot more dancing in the film, but it's actually a lot more deeper dive than that. It's there's teen angst, but at the same time, it's coming of age. There's definitely a huge coming of age, and it's really fun. And I think for me, I haven't seen this movie in quite some time, and having it revisited was just amazing. And I forgot the powerful role that John Lithgow played in this, because even though he was the one that we wanted to hate, kind of the antagonist of the film, at the end of the film, he truly found his heart and his place, and essentially reunited the love between him and his wife. And it just goes to show you can truly get so deep and lost in your work that you forget everything around you. And it was really interesting. One of the pinnacle scenes of the movie is when the pastor slapped his own daughter in the face.
There was a lot, man. It was
a
lot of violent.
He's like, I've never hit anyone, much less my daughter. It's like, oh man, that sucks, But Austin, how long has it been since you've seen this film? I know we were talking earlier; it's been a couple years. Is there any takeaways for you from this old retro classic?
Yeah, it's been a bit, man, and I wanted to go back and revisit it. Didn't have time due to the other screeners, but it is a movie that I do fondly remember, because I actually went back and rewatched. I believe it was only my second time watching it a couple years ago after I watched the remake. And let me tell you, it's not a movie that needed to be remade, because that remake did not work. I think the concept of this town revolting against the idea of bringing new ideas to the table is a great concept, right? It's one we've seen played out before, but not with this level of energy and enthusiasm. And I think the performances here do stand out as some of the best, whether you're talking Lithgow or Kevin Bacon. This may be, and you're talking Kevin Bacon, right? So many roles. This may be his most iconic role ever.
I think that was his breakout role.
It was.
Wow.
It absolutely was. And that's saying something. But you go back and you rewatch, at least last time I revisited, and it was so impactful. And I thought he absolutely crushed the role. He got off to a hot start, if you will. Now, there are conventions and there are things about the movie that again, you've seen before, but never in this setting. So I think that's what allows it to stand out. And I remember fondly enjoying this film and just having a good time with the energy that it brings to the table. And obviously, I gotta cut loose. And just thinking about that song, and you just you smile when you think about this film. And that's a good thing.
Kenny Loggins' score, I do believe, is one of the pinnacle scores that really solidified this film in pop culture history.
So memorable.
And, amazingly enough, it's not a John Hughes film. It kind of feels like one.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of feels like a John Hughes film, right?
It does. Absolutely. Does. Yeah.
Lindsay, you just watched this last night after literally going live on your own Twitch channel. The girl completed an artwork in the wee hours of the morning, and she just said, "You know what? I'm going to watch a movie."
Yeah, so we're just gonna power through this.
Power through it.
No, I've seen Footloose countless times. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, but I really wanted to get that nice, fresh perspective, because sometimes you forget the details.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate this movie for the details, because there's a journey of a whole lot of the kids are like numb to this culture that they've been brought into, almost, because everything is no.
Yeah.
Everything is no.
Can't
every corner, every moment, everything is always no.
Yeah.
And they've just kind of, as a collective, learned to accept it. And so you have this new kid coming into town that's not used to the no's and trying desperately to navigate it's like walking on glass.
It is.
Trying to get through all of these rules and regulations and laws, and he's just trying to have fun, and he's not stirring the pot, but yet trouble is always coming his way. So he's also the outsider, automatically labeled as a bad kid. And so he's desperately trying to overcome this, and he's getting it from all angles. He's getting it from the bullies. He's getting it from the adults in the town, but he's also getting it from his own family. That uncle that he comes to live with, I just wanted to punch him in the throat.
Oh.
But
yes.
So, and he's even trying to avoid all of the advances of the preacher's daughter, Ariel. And
there's many.
She is like ridiculous to just throwing herself at him, and I think it's just
you gotta watch those preachers kids
behavior of hers to try to overcome her overly controlling father, even though it's the path to where is paved with good intentions. The father definitely overreaches with his control.
Agreed.
Trying to soothe his own wounds from the loss of his son only 5 short years before this story is told. So we're just kind of revisiting. We're going on in multiple journeys, but I find the father's journey to be the most interesting of the whole movie, because he does have that change of heart at the end. I absolutely love the silent soldier, the mother. The preacher's wife is actually the one that turns the tides of this story at the very end. And she doesn't have a lot of speaking roles. She has a lot of presence.
But what she says is important.
But what she says is so incredibly powerful. And it's almost like he just assumed that she agreed with him. And then she just had to say that one thing. And he was just like flipped a switch in his brain.
That's so good that you said it. Never assume what someone is thinking or what someone is going through. And she was such a voice in this. And like you said, small dialogue, but a powerful punch.
So
powerful punch.
So
so I think for me, it was a good joy. I think, Lindsay, this was your choice, wasn't it, to do Footloose? Was it one?
Yeah, it was one of on the list of the suggestions I threw out there. Yeah.
Really good one, actually. We haven't visited this one. It's been over 10 years for me for seeing Footloose. It's been a while. So there's a lot of it I forgot about.
I liked, too, that it wasn't a predictable outcome for the council meeting.
Right.
I really appreciated that. They still got the no.
They did.
They still got the no. But they kind of backskirted around it because they're a city on a state line. So they actually just had to cross some railroad tracks conveniently to have their party anyways. But I really like that they added that part into the story.
Yeah.
Because it was a predictable storyline the way it was heading. But then they were like, nope, we're going to go this way, which I kind of enjoyed that part.
It's awesome. For me, it's also like you study the psychology of when kids are told to do one thing, what are they going to do? They're going to do the opposite, especially when you've got the town has such a stranglehold on what they're trying to do in this movie. So you're almost rooting for them. You are rooting for them to rebel against that, which it's a great talking point. Like as much as it doesn't seem like this movie will spawn some interesting talking points, this is something that's carried over, I mean, through decades, right? So I think it's it's an interesting thing to look at from a psychology standpoint, just the way that kids handle this type of, it's fascinating to me.
It is fascinating. It really is. And one of the big scenes, and I'll shut up after this and we'll give our review officially, but one of the scenes too is like the townsfolk was so irate about this dance going on that they began things of pop culture. I know Tom Sawyer was brought up, the book and the film and stuff like that. The townsfolk began to burn books in the town square.
I think was the other book.
And this is like, the Cider House Rules, I believe.
Yes.
And, the pastor, John Lithgow's character, walked up and was like, what are you guys doing? The enemy is not in these books. It's out there. It's right here.
It's in your heart.
Right here. And I was like, okay, that was a powerful.
And cast judgment upon yourself.
Exactly.
That is such a powerful statement.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, essentially.
Yeah.
And what are you guys doing here? Great movie. Really quick before we give our score, it's just a couple things I want to let you guys know. Madonna auditioned for the role of Ariel, which is the pastor's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Kevin Bacon didn't realize upon taking the role he was actually going to have to dance. He also revealed that he was very disappointed about needing to use stunt doubles for some of the dance routines. If you notice in the barn scene, some of those scenes was not Kevin Bacon. And then also Kevin Bacon went undercover as a high school student to prepare for film. That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
And then John Lithgow sneakily got a real-life minister to help him prepare for his role.
Wow. That's cool.
So, interesting factoids from this movie, Footloose, 1984. Guys, you ready to review this and move on to Thor: Love and Thunder?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Austin and Lindsay, you guys Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, I think I'm floating. I mean, again, I didn't get to watch it recently, so I don't want to nail down a number. Around a 7.5 for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great product of its time, and it's memorable for a reason.
Exactly. Lindsay?
I'm going to put it at a 8.2. It's a really solid movie. It holds up. Even, I mean, obviously the hairstyles, the clothing, the music is all very much 80s, but
Pure.
the story holds up.
It does.
Yes.
So it's still very much relevant for being a story that's told.
It's actually funny. I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to go with an 8.4.
Nice.
For this one. And I'm kind of starting a trend, and I don't intend to do that, but this movie came out in 84, and I'm giving it an 8.4. It's awesome. Not the first time I've done that on PopX, but that was a number that was echoing in my mind when I finished watching it yesterday. And so 8.4, 8.2, 7.5, that is PopX's official review of Footloose from 1984. Guys, if you haven't seen it in a while, do yourself a favor. Enjoy it with a movie night with your family. It's definitely fun. There's some scenes that may have a little parental guidance, but it's nothing too invasive, and there's nothing too bad about the film that normal audiences would be able to understand, and the kids will love the dance scenes for sure. So
it's
check it
definitely
out.
a rewatchable movie.
It is. With that said, are you guys ready for some Thor: Love and Thunder? Yay! Don't go anywhere. Spoiler alert warning rolling out right now. If you have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder in film and cinema, you might want to hit that pause button and come back, okay?
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
You have been warned that Miss Marvel is a mutant. All right, so I had to get that out. I'm so sorry.
Feels good.
It feels good on the...
Feels so good.
She's a mutant. So
Oh,
that is not even what we're talking about, is it? But I did roll. I did roll the spoiler alert warning.
True.
He just couldn't. He couldn't play that fast enough.
Oh, Lindsay, have you seen Miss Marvel?
I've seen the first episode.
Okay.
I've been kind of slowly working that one into the road.
I apologize. So
You're no,
these are not the droids you're looking for.
Hello there.
Hello there. Anyway, Thor: Love and Thunder, you guys, hit cinemas last week around Thursday. And we knew it was going to be a decent size hit, as Austin alluded to in the news headlines. It made really good numbers in the box office. Didn't quite top Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and definitely Maverick is a beast to be reckoned with in terms of box office numbers. But it did fairly well. It did really good for itself, and it's probably expected to retain that number one title this weekend. But Thor finds himself still with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're still trying to get rid of Thor so they can go do Guardians of the Galaxy things, but Thor don't want to leave, and it's an interesting take. It really is. And Austin, I was watching your first theater reactions. I love your theater reactions on TikTok, because when you get out of the cinema, if you guys aren't following Austin Burke on TikTok, you need to be doing that. The Burkinator, check him out. Austin Burke Movies, right? Austin Burke Movies? Yep. Yeah. Check him out on TikTok. But he as soon as he gets out of the theater and he sees these movies premiere sometimes 2 weeks in advance, he'll give you first reactions. And that's so important for me. No spoilers, first reactions. And so it's really cool. Check that out. But we find Thor in a different film, a different setting than we've seen him in Ragnarok, Dark World, and the original Thor, especially with all the Avengers movies and stuff. Thor has kind of become more of a cheesy, campy character in a lot of ways, as not the god of thunder who wields Mjolnir. But it is interesting to see Taika Waititi's take, and we're actually infusing a little more heart into the film, specifically with Jane Foster's character coming back to reprise her role, Natalie Portman. Austin, what was some takeaways for you?
So I wanted to see this movie again. It's one of those films that the highs are so high.
Yeah.
Then you have my lows that just, they stayed with me after the movie was over, and weeks after thinking about it, I'm like, man, there were parts of it that felt so messy. I needed to see it again. And I'm staying true to my highs being ridiculously high. You mentioned the Jane cancer storyline, and that's something I know we talked about before the movie released. I am so glad they included that in the movie, because what this movie needed was to keep the emotion alive through the comedy. and there's a lot of comedy in this film. Not all of it works, unfortunately. But what works so well is when they just kind of scale back on that and focus more on the heaviness of Jane's cancer storyline, and then the heaviness with Gore and Gore's daughter, the motivations behind what he's doing, going after these gods, whatnot, right?
Right.
So you have Gore as like this really intimidating villain. I think Bale does a phenomenal job. I needed more from him. Right? I think we need more god butchering. We didn't really see any god butchering, and he's the god butcher, so that was unfortunate. But when it all comes together and culminates at the end, as many issues as I do have with the first half of this film, I found the third act to be so much fun, so wonderful. And where we leave Thor off now, and especially that tease at the end, I think the future's in good hands. I feel like Taika Waititi maybe went a little too overboard with what he does most in this movie, and that's take things over the top. And he did that, and it's kind of hurt me post watching for the first time, but I still really like the film. I think it's a lot of fun, and I had a good experience both times watching the movie.
Yeah. I have to echo exactly what you just said. I mean, I do feel that Taika Waititi did take things a little over the top, and I could use, honestly, to be honest, I could have seen more of Gore, the God Butcher. Yeah. We only see him slay one god, well, two gods, essentially in this movie. The one at the beginning of the film, and then the giant god that was laying in the vast snowfield, who was referenced in the comic book. That actual scene was in a comic book, as a matter of fact. But we didn't really see a lot of god butchering. We just hear that he's butchering gods, but and I don't know if that was restrained by Disney for a reason, because I know when he killed the first god, it was gold that was coming out of the god's throat, not blood. And so, it's like Disney's way of like, let's just make it gold and not blood. It's just like, I get it. It's PG-13. But at the same time, you can do a lot in PG-13.
It's definitely a flexible rating.
I would have loved to have seen a couple other gods, like maybe some Moon Knight crossover, maybe some Ra, maybe something like that. Something that impacts other franchises within the MCU.
To connect it a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been. I don't know if you guys know, but there is a huge connection between Moon Knight and Thor in the comic books. Because of the gods that they serve.
That would have been cool.
That makes sense.
And so it's really interesting to see. But for me, I would have loved to see more of that. Lindsay, some takeaways for you.
I really feel like this chapter of the Thor storyline really takes a lot of the loose ends and wraps them up, which is really nice. Yeah. It kind of solidifies the relationship with him and Jane, obviously. I love Jane's storyline is so powerful and so well done, and she got freaking swole for this movie.
Yes, she did. Natalie Portman.
Gorgeous. And the fact that she has to switch from this super strong woman to this very weak and frail. Back and forth is just a testament to her acting skills. She really rocked it in this movie, even more than she did any of the other roles that she played in the other movies. Well, I mean, I guess it's still Jane, but I mean, it really is a dynamic character in this one. I loved Gore too. I agree. We needed a little bit more violence I wanted to hate him a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
I really love whenever they take a bad guy and, you get that emotional tie like they did at the end with him and the daughter scene with Eternity and everything. That was really cool. But I feel like I would have had a more emotional impact if there was more dislike throughout
like
the
Thanos,
movie.
Like Thanos snapping
like Thanos.
half the universe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like some
so
destruction.
he's supposed to be this powerful being. So there wasn't a ton of that. There was also not enough Hemsworth booty.
Oh, of course you'd say that.
A lot more God backside.
I remember when that scene came into the theater in Atlanta, because I got to see this with Mike, and Alex went,
I'm just going to rewind that. I'm going to get it on the DVD and just rewind that. You snapped too hard.
Alex went, oh.
Also, I don't know what it is that Taika eats for breakfast every day, but it's got to be some crazy Fruit Loops, because screaming goats, seriously?
Yeah.
I came home wanting to scream like a goat because it was just so good. It was so corny, but it was so good. It's very popular, meme worthy sound, and he just went to town on it. I think he had like the mash button and he just hit it over and over again. But that was just the comedy that it brought. But the thing is that I don't feel like it reached the comedy level of Ragnarok. And I know that I've heard this several times, is you always compare to the former movies. Ragnarok hit such a high level of goodness for these Marvel films that it's really hard to reach that again. And I think he just barely fell short. It's a hell of a lot better than Dark World. It's better than the first Thor. This movie is second in line if you're looking at just the Thor franchise.
Agreed. I would agree with that.
There's so many. I mean, Taika is known for like his bright colors and stuff, and that was really introduced in Ragnarok, but it continues into this movie, which I really, really like. There's just so many good things. Again, it tied in with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love seeing the kids. His kids are in this movie.
Both of them.
Yes, kids were great.
Yeah,
so that was really cool.
At the beginning scene when he's running in the woods, that's his son. And then the eternal child that was born from eternity is India Rose Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And so she is officially part of the MCU now.
Crazy.
Yes.
His own daughter.
Talk cameos for just a second, though.
Before you go there, you were talking about the goats. The goats' names is Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher.
I love it. Grinder and Gnasher.
Yeah.
Love it.
I just wanted to show you. Cameos.
Yeah, cameos. Matt Damon.
Yeah. And Chris Hemsworth's brother.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. I love that.
Chris Hemsworth's brother. And then, let's see, you had...
Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. Alan Grant. What's his name? I can say Alan Grant.
There was so many people on that stage that I was just like...
Jurassic Park guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
I can't remember his name. Russell Crowe as Zeus.
Yeah.
He did well.
He did good.
The skirt curtsy when he comes down. He comes down the steps.
I loved it as like a one-off character, but the thing is that if you guys do the credit scenes, because I think we've trained you a decade of movies, you never leave during the credits ever for a Marvel movie, and he actually shows up, and I have a feeling he's going to reappear in another movie.
Which
I'm really excited about, because Russell Crowe's Zeus would be wasted otherwise.
Yeah, I felt like they shortchanged him just a little bit in the role. He didn't get enough to do for me, but I think if they're going with we'll talk about it, storyline, then I have a feeling that he could be a lot better in the next film. So I'm excited for that.
I think he could. I think, honestly, with the introduction of Hercules, I don't know if you guys recognize that actor playing Hercules. He is from Ted Lasso. Yeah. The actor's name fails me right now. I apologize. But I immediately recognized him because I'm a huge fan of Ted Lasso on Apple TV+. Great show. And so when I saw him, I was like, oh! And Alex is like, who is that? I was like, you don't, because Alex, my wife, hasn't seen Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So they are, guys, Hercules and Thor in the comics is like Hulk and the Thing in comics. Yeah. They battled all the freaking time.
Yeah.
So if Hercules, because Hercules would be Olympus's version of Thor in retrospect. So that would be really cool to see, like Thor 5, if that's the way they go.
I like how they're pulling in the mythologies.
Yeah,
and blending them.
That's great, man. Yeah, you got Norse mythology, Greek mythology, all of that coming together, and but
Thor's going to need a bad guy because he's literally kicked everybody else's butt.
Pretty much at this point, but Kang the Conqueror.
This is true.
That's going to be a different ball game there because that's a multiverse dimensional being. But getting back to the gist of the final, so that was the first in post-credit scene was that the scene with Zeus and the wound in his chest and him summoning Hercules.
I'm so glad we got Korg back.
Yeah, me too. And Korg has a baby Korg now, and so he met a new Rock. He met a new Rock, and they held hands under a lava pool, and That's insane.
Then we have
that
Little Pebble.
Little Pebble coming out. And then we have the final post-credit scene, which was interesting. It was Jane Foster meeting Heimdall in Valhalla. Why would they show that? Why would they show Valhalla?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
because in Norse mythology, now guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've studied Norse mythology. A warrior spirit can leave Valhalla only once, but never return. Whether they die on the battlefield or not. That's Norse mythology. Like if you die,
referred to Valhalla several times during this movie.
And
too.
Yes, they do.
So if you die on the battlefield, you get a warrior's death, which means you are invited into Valhalla. All right. In Valhalla Norse mythology, so you can essentially, your spirit can leave and inhabit another being, but you can never go back to Valhalla. That's a choice that you have to make. Interesting.
Yes.
That if they go that route, interesting. Just little
nugget.
Another interesting thing that I thought too. Did you guys notice the continuity with Jane and Thor? I have this on a note here. I'm gonna share this right quick. A small piece of dialogue between Thor and Jane addresses the fact that she may have been one of the victims of Thanos' snap. When the pair meet again, they have a slight disagreement on how long they've been broken up. Jane suggests it was only 3 or 4 years, while Thor says it was 8 years, 7 months, 6 days, give or take. The difference in time is likely due to the fact that Jane was snapped out of existence by Thanos for 5 years. This was seemingly confirmed. This was seemingly confirmed in the script for Avengers Endgame, which never made the final film. In these notes on the scene, Jane's name is among those listed in the victims of the snap.
Ooh, I like that.
So even though that intel didn't make it into the final cut of Endgame, it was in the script originally, essentially. So I don't know if that's. I don't know if there's a scene where it shows a wall and Jane Foster's name's on that. I know there's a memorial scene at the end of Endgame, or at the end of it's the beginning of Endgame actually when they pick up 5 years later.
That's right.
I have to go back and rewatch that. But
how did you guys feel about the relationship with the axe Stormbringer?
Axe Stormbreaker. Yeah, it has its own personality. I kind of
that was weird.
It's kind of like, why are you leaving me from Mjolnir? Why are you?
I actually like that more than the goats.
It's like the love triangle of Thor and his weapons. It's
I like that.
Strange.
I struggle with the goats at points, but I never struggle with that until he poured beer on it. Then I was like,
"Here, Stormbreaker, have your first brew."
Yeah, I thought that was kind of. It's like they pushed it with all that. They pushed it with that. They pushed it with the goats. They started to wear on me a little bit. It's that nonstop, just like. And you think of Thor's story in this movie, and he's lost everyone prior to this movie, and then he loses his girl. It's such a tragic story, played so lightheartedly. Yep. I'm like, I don't know if those two things fully mix, but like I said, when it actually ends off, and you get that sacrifice, and what Belle's character ends up doing with Eternity, and the Eternity storyline is brilliant. I know, Joe, we've talked about this before.
We have.
Would they ever include Eternity? And they did. So that's what I wanted. I thought it ended so beautifully, and the idea of bringing back your daughter instead of taking out all the gods, man, loved it.
Let's go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. All right, you've got Ego the Living Planet, right? And then there's a scene about at the 3/4 way in where Ego touches the forehead of Star-Lord, and Star-Lord looks up, and his eyes go, "Eternity." And so it is hearkening. That is not what he's looking at is his own eternity. He's looking at the being eternity. Yes. And so we finally get to see that being. And it's straight out of the comics. Out of the comics. The being has no facial format that you can see. But the scene where at the end of it, when Jane is on her last and then Gore is on his last, and then Gore realizes the error of his ways, and he looks, and Jane's like, "Will you take care of this child?" And Jane's like, "You can do this." Yeah. And then Gore instead of Gore making a decision to eradicate everything and cause all discord, he wants his daughter back.
Yeah. That was really
when
good.
his daughter walks up and the reflection of her, you see her eyes lit up as white, but in a child's form, but eternity behind it. That is what eternity actually looks like in the comics, a walking being with a galaxy behind them, but only white eyes. It was straight out of Jack Kirby goodness. I freaking love it. We got some cameos from some Celestials in here as well. There were some tie-ins there.
The Watcher.
Only for as the Watcher, Owatu. So many references, even in the throne room battle scene, the giant celestial heads that were coming down in the statues. Just amazing. But there were so many references here to What If, the concurrent MCU on Disney Plus. I just really enjoyed seeing a lot of that come together in full live action. And so, is there anything that we haven't touched on? We talked to cameos a little bit.
How did we like Valkyrie in this? She was kind of like the king of as the new Asgard, and she was pretty consistent. I mean, obviously you could tell like she at the beginning she's really just over it.
Yeah, I thought she had a pretty good. I think she had a pretty good commanding role. I don't think it wasn't over the top, and she's not. It was probably Mike Kendall over in the chat. It was probably been said, but Christian Bale is amazing in this movie. Mike Kendall, first and foremost, what's up, buddy? And yes, Christian Bale is amazing in pretty much anything the dude acts.
So good.
He's a method actor by far. But getting back to the conversation, I think Valkyrie, I think her role was just enough. And I think Valkyrie knowing about Jane's disease before anybody else, it seems like Jane had been talking to her privately.
Like they made like
there was a connection
they
there.
Like a sleepover or something, and they like spill all their darkest secrets.
Talk or I found that interesting because it was like there was conversation going on there. This conversation she didn't want to have in front of Thor because she knew it would affect Thor.
Yes.
And so in that, it was just really interesting to see, like, are you okay? And then knowing specifically, let's go to the boat scene when Stormbreaker is summoning the Bifrost and they're heading to the Shadow Realm. And, you got that. There's this conversation between Korg and Valkyrie in the boat. And it's like, hey, what are they doing out there? You don't really, something like that. And it's just like, and she says something to the effect like, well, there's a lot more deeper than that. There's something there else going on. And Corey's like, oh.
Yeah.
And, there's this moment, I can't remember the dialogue specifically, but it lets you know that she was in the know the whole time, long before anybody else.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, why would Jane reach out to Valkyrie? It's interesting. I want to know more about that part.
You know who I wanted more of in this movie? Because this is like
Infinity
where she
Cones?
came from.
Infinity Cones?
Infinity Cones. Yeah.
No. I really wanted, I mean, we got a little taste, little sampling, but I really wanted more Darcy.
Darcy.
She is one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and we get a boatload of her in the Wanda series. But she originated in the Thor series.
She sure did.
True.
And so I really wanted a little bit more from her. You only get one scene where she's sitting next to Jane while she's doing chemo treatment, and they have a little small conversation, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you get. I was like, I love her character and the way her character is written. I resonate with her snarky sass attitude stuff that she's got going on. And so I really wanted a little bit more of that. Obviously, she doesn't leave Earth and go travel the universe, but anytime that they were on Earth, I really wanted a little bit more of Darcy.
Also, too, you guys may or may not know this, Jeff Goldblum's cut of the Grand Master from Ragnarok was actually filmed for this role.
Oh, was it? I was wondering if we were going to see him.
It was removed on the cutting room floor. I guess it didn't fill in the continuity of what Taika Waititi was looking for.
So I've actually heard that Marvel, for some reason, this is a rumor, we don't know. I heard Marvel mandated this film to be under 2 hours, and I find that strange because I felt strange. Part of my issue with the first act was we're going back and forth, and it felt rushed. So knowing that the movie could have and maybe should have been longer, and maybe we get a scene of Gore butchering a god, and it's not included in this movie. So I feel like maybe there's more left on the cutting room floor than normal with the Marvel film.
Can we get the Waititi cut, please?
Well, he's
Talking about
already
GD cut.
he's actually went on the record for Hollywood Reporter, and he said if you're looking for, he said this week, if you're looking for a director's cut, it's not going to happen for this film. Because I once Marvel has signed, sealed, and delivered the package as the full film, it's not going to.
That's it.
If you
That's
notice,
done.
none of the MCU films get a director's cut, not even the Russo brothers.
And it'll never happen.
It'll never happen. There's footage that was filmed that you will never see. I know for specifically when, and I'll say this and we'll get to our scores and we'll wrap up. There was a scene that was filmed, and we saw this because there's a website that I follow. When Jane Foster first summons the role of Mjolnir and Thor, there, you know, the big white columns that were in the background of New Asgard. There's a scene where she was like levitating up behind those columns, and it was filmed several days. That scene, she was literally rising off her feet, and her arms were outstretched. But it never made the film. And I was waiting for that scene, and I saw it literally filmed 2 years ago.
Because I mean, all you got to see was her standing next to the little dome of the pieces, and it never explained, like, one, how the heck did they put it back together, and two, how did she acquire that? You know, it was very much an implied connection, which I feel like probably should have been.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up, and let's give our official review of Thor: Love and Thunder. Coming out of the theater, I really felt that I'll lead this one off. I felt, you know, I saw a good Marvel film, something fun, something funny, something heartfelt. Don't feel it was kind of like up to the level of Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Multiverse. I don't feel it was like that depth. With that said, I'm going to go with an 8.2, I believe, on this. You know, I don't think I could go any higher than that, just because there's some things I think it could have been flat. Again, this is personal preference of mine. I think there's things that I could have seen more of or less of.
Yep.
Austin?
I agree. I will go a little lower. I'm actually going a 7.3 with my score.
Okay.
I think it's a good Marvel movie. I think it's a solid Marvel movie, and I will very willingly watch it again. I just felt like there were some things maybe left out that should have been included in an overwhelming sense of comedy, but some of the better emotional beats we've gotten in a while. So I still really enjoyed myself.
Same. Lindsay Badger.
I'm right on par with you, Joe, but because I thoroughly enjoy Hemsworth's backside, we're going to do an 8.5.
8.5. Just for that, huh? Okay.
Just for the buns of steel. Hey, he put a lot of work into him. You got to show him off, man.
Yeah. Well, listen. That is
true.
All those squats.
Listen, chat. I want to know what your score is. Please drop it in the chat. My Kindle said a 7.5. Jeremy Stoltz coming in at a 7.6. Wow, you guys, this is probably, I couldn't agree more. She was, I'm just catching up. Darcy, yep, I get you. They will change scenes at Disney Plus, some things to fix, exactly. But you know, we also wrapped up Miss Marvel this week as well, and then another great show. Interesting take on the show. We won't be able to do a show on it here.
We did the finale of Stranger Things as well.
Yeah, and we had the finale of Stranger. There's so much that has happened in the past week. It's been so hard to keep up with, but we
highly
did
recommend.
Yes, the final 2 episodes is just pure glory.
Amazing,
bonkers.
But with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this afternoon here. I know that we're on a weird time and stuff like that, and but we really appreciate you spending your afternoon with us, and for episode 144, and we are very thankful for that. But we'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know if you guys saw on the footnotes, but we're going to be covering DC's League of Super Pets.
Nice.
My wife wants to go see it, so when my wife is like, I want to, because it's dogs and she loves dogs. So, you know, I know it is a kid's film, but at the same time, there's going to be some comic book glory in there. I think Warner Brothers is going to throw some stuff in.
Heavy hitters on the docket for the voices.
Kevin Hart. You got Kevin Hart, John Krasinski.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of Easter eggs.
A lot of Easter eggs.
There's going to be a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be overload if you're a Warner Brothers DC fan, which I'm a fan of anything, really, if it's a comic book. So, but all right, guys. Well, with that said, Austin Burke, are you ready to take us out, buddy?
I am.
Guys, listen, thanks so much for joining us here on a Friday. This was an awesome show. I'm so happy we got to talk about Thor. So, Joe, thanks for coming in, man. Lindsay, thank you. It was awesome. I'm Austin Burke at the Burkinator. You guys can search and find me all over the interwebs, and I'll give you my address if you ask for it. No. We are part of the newly formed creative group known as the Creative Multiverse. For more great media content, artwork, and more, find us on Facebook groups and now on Discord at the Creative Multiverse. If you are a creative, produce content, or have a talent, we want to see it and would like for you guys to share it with us in the multiverse.
Yes.
In the multiverse. Yes. And thank you guys again for being patient with us whenever we switched over there in the middle of the show.
Yeah, it's all good.
You guys are rock stars. And thanks for hanging out and interacting with us. It's really makes this show so much more entertaining for us to do with you guys reacting to our conversation. If you guys want to connect with us on the social medias, we have all the places everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, probably even on Mars. Everything is all at PopXcast. If you want to send an email to us because, you're like, you just want to send an email to us for whatever reason, sign us up for a newsletter. PopXcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
is the address for that. Fill the spam folders. And also, if you want to go check out all of the episodes that we've ever recorded go over to our website, popxcast.com.
That's it. PopXcast.com, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm, of course, Joseph Burke, a.k.a. at Joseph Burke Arts. All over social media, of course, hats off to Team PopX. That's it for this episode. But rest assured, we will be back in about 2 weeks for episode 145, where we will discuss DC's League of Super Pets and the 1980 classic Weird Science. From my heart and from my soul. Anyway, man, it's going to be a good show. So we'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. That will be on, I believe, at the end of the month, July 31st. Will be on that Sunday. That we'll be back on our normal Sunday scheduled routine. But from all of us here at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, and thanks for just being a part of the PopX family. You guys truly are the rock stars, and we will see you next time.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for being a part of the PopX family. If you liked our show, please visit our YouTube page. Be sure to click subscribe and tap the notification bell so you'll know when we go live next. Visit our Discord channel by clicking the QR code on screen during our live stream, or simply visit bit.ly/Creative Multiverse. Connect with us on social media by using @PopXcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.